I just sold over 300,000 rune arrows to the Paladin of Needs general store for over 50 million GP cash, all on my level 32 Iron Man. My plan is to use some of this cash to buy just over 150,000 broad arrow tips, which I can then passively fletch during all of the questing I'll be doing. These arrows should get me to level 80 fletching, which is the level required to make my own magic shortbows. But before I can start questing, I still had to unlock broader fletching, and I did that by knocking out 18 Wildy Slayer tasks, which I strongly regret doing. This took 30 hours, but at least I made a friend. Here's a quick stats update. Take a really good look because I'm about to do basically every quest possible for my account. I left some of the higher level quests, or the really fun ones, to go over in a bit more detail, but yeah, I'm over 200 quest points. Here's how I did it. So I started off with the quests that unlock the various transportation methods, like all of the Karen City quests to unlock the quick travel throughout the new region. I did the Grand Tree quest to unlock gnome gliders, I did Tree Gnome Village to unlock spirit trees, and of course I did Priest in Peril followed by Ghosts Ahoy to unlock all of Mauritania and the Active File. And finally, I did Bon Voyage to unlock all of Fossil Island. From there, I wanted to focus on quests that gave prayer experience, and I did literally every prayer quest that I could do on my account. And yes, I even did Rag and Bone Man 1 and 2, because I did the math and figured out that by doing all of these quests, I'll end up at exactly 45 prayer, which is the level you need to get Mystic Might, and that's the level that I planned to stop at originally. So it just kind of all worked out. The one challenge is that I needed to do a newer mini quest called His Faithful Servants, which is basically just like a Barrows run, but because I was such a low level and I didn't have any overheads, I had to do it like this. Yeah, safe spotting with Earth Blast. This run took over 30 minutes. Never lucky. Now that I unlocked the first two overheads, it was time to grind out some of the most iconic pure quests in the game and start unlocking some of the best in-slot gear for my account, of course. I started with Death Plateau, which unlocks climbing boots for +2 strength. I know spiked manacles are better or give you more strength bonus, and I will get them one day, but those are too rare to actually PK with, so for now I'm focusing on the best in-slot items that I can actually use in the wilderness, if that makes sense. I did Horror from the Deep, which unlocks all of the God books. I haven't done any clues yet to finish the books, but even without, the damaged books are still +5 prayer bonus, so that's great for me. Next up, I did Animal Magnetism to unlock the Ava's Accumulator, which actually is my best in slot range cape forever. And then I did all of the parts of Recipe for Disaster that Pures can actually do, which unlocks Myth Gloves, and shortly after that grind, I finally hit 80 fletching, which means I can officially craft my own magic shortbows. And this is where like everything finally started to feel like it's all coming together. Like I finally started seeing myself as an actual pure account, not just like some Iron Man in progress, you know? I also used some of my LMS points to buy the magic shortbow imbue scrolls, which adds a little bit of accuracy, but more importantly, it also reduces the spec energy requirement down to 50%. So I can spec twice with the magic shortbow, which I think will be incredibly useful both for killing revenants and for anti-PKing. I fought Sicknerd on stream, and of course I had to be super obnoxious and taunt. I don't know. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm sorry, Sicknerd. Now that I'm done with the fletching grind, I turned my attention to crafting. I wanted level 78 crafting so that I could pie boost to create all of the Black Dragonhide chaps that I would need in the wilderness, and my timing could not have been better. Jagex answered all of my prayers and buffed Shooting Stars out of nowhere. Shooting Stars can be mined for Stardust, and Stardust can be traded to this guy for Uncut Gems, and Uncut Gems is crafting XP. So I immediately started to 1.5 tick mine for No, I'm kidding. I AFK'd it all, do not worry. Using my trusty rune pickaxe, I was getting around 20k mining XP per hour, and I ended up at 86 mining, so if you're a nerd, you can calculate how long this took me. Nerd. I was planning to do even more mining, but I had to stop at 200,000 Stardust because Jagex stated that they may nerf the Stardust shop, and of course I didn't want my mining to go to waste. Thankfully, after trading in all my Stardust, I got, let's just call this a lot of gems. I should be able to get 78 or maybe even 79 crafting just by cutting these gems, And if I have any bit of downtime, I can actually then make these gems into bracelets, which is typically the best option for Iron Man, and that might get me 84 or even 85 crafting, plus a ton more money. Now, originally my plan was to cut these gems while running rooftops, so I could get graceful on my way to 78 crafting, but after trying this plan very briefly, I decided that the plan was absolutely terrible and was just so bad to actually do, so instead I opted to use another method that was definitely super duper efficient. I would literally stand here cutting gems as my run energy recharged, then I'd hop to a blast furnace world, make a few inventories of bars until my run energy ran out, and then I'd hop back and I repeated, all the way to 78 crafting. I also did some Giant's Foundry to unlock the double mold because all these bars are going to be steel bars for cannonballs, blah 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 blah. And despite doing basically every quest, I didn't actually do the dwarf cannon quest yet, somehow. So I can't use the mold yet. Dragon Impling World 395 south of the monastery, up for grabs. Good luck, boys. Or girl. I then did Waterfall Quest, another quest that I just didn't do for some reason, but like I did all these hard ones. But one of the rewards is Mithril Seeds, which is great for PKing. But it was at this moment that I realized that these are literally all of the Mithril Seeds I'll ever get. They're only buyable from the Legends Guild shop, and I can't access that on a pure. Yeah, I made a snowflake account, so let's make everything change for me. And then I killed this guy. I'm not even gonna pretend I outplayed him. I was getting completely worked, and I even hit him with the TY. I am such a scumbag. I'm so sorry. Like, I actually watch this guy because he also makes pure content, and I'm so sorry, but clearly not sorry enough to not show the clip. That is Swan Song completed, and before Desert Treasure, I just also decided to craft 100 Rings of Wealth for no reason at all. So yeah, I have those now. This bot is 200 mil cooking XP, still one ticking Corral bombs. Jagex, what's going on here, bud?
How are you?
I might. How about yourself?
I am really good. Really good at PKing.
Finally time for Desert Treasure, can't milk it anymore. This is a fun little quest, but I know we've all seen it, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. I think everyone knows how you can flick prayers to make this dude dance. The other two bosses are just pretty standard fights, just don't let your prayer drop and you can kill them nice and easy. The only one that's kind of relevant, I guess, not relevant, just annoying, is the Ice Diamond because it's actual hot garbage. And just having to go there, like walk so far with the stat drain, it's not gonna kill you, it's just annoying, it's aggravating, like why? Why? At the pyramid, I've also heard rumors like if you stop, you'll activate a trap, or if you don't use the minimap to click, you'll activate a trap. Or even, it's based on your carried weight, you're gonna activate traps. Like, I don't know, I've never actually had a problem running through the pyramid, but this time I just tried to open as many menus as possible to see if it would stall my character just in case. Not sure if it worked because they reworked the skills menu, so like the stalls aren't the same, but I didn't fall, so I'll pretend it works. Anyways, that is Desert Treasure completed, and I can now start doing burst tasks. Woo! Oh my god, the Ancient Staff isn't buyable. I was actually really counting on this being like a buyable item, like I wanted to stack up on these. This means that I can't like skull up when I'm using it, or else I risk losing it, and then I have no way to autocast Ancients. It's like, this is so dumb. Jagex, why? Like, this is actually kind of terrible. How am I gonna pick on the noobs now? Anyways, with Desert Treasure completed, this also means I can now get my kinda best in slot magic gear, Ghostly Robes. Elder Chaos Robes are of course better, but Ghostly Robes take 10 seconds to get. Elder Chaos takes hundreds of KC, so yeah. And next up, I finally got 50 attack so I can actually wield the Ancient Staff. It's gonna be my best in slot melee weapon until I unlock the Granite Hammer, which will probably be quite a while. And I then followed that up by heading north to the Deep Wilds to get my Mage Arena Cape. This will also be my best in slot until I can upgrade to the imbued version. With that out of the way, there was one last thing I wanted to do before starting Wildy Slayer. I needed a rune crossbow if I planned on doing any anti-PKing. The Crazy Archaeologist is the obvious answer to this problem, and I didn't realize this, but he actually drops red d'hide leather, which I got as a drop, and that's kind of amazing because I was still using studded chaps when I was ranging. So now I can actually go and craft this into some red d'hide chaps up until I'm 70 range. And that is the rune crossbow drop, exactly on drop rate. Thank you, Jagex, this will work for sure. I quickly crafted some chaps, and it is finally time for Wildy Slayer. Something I didn't mention before is that part of the reason I did so many quests is because at 200 quest points, I can get my 4th Slayer block slot, and Slayer on a pure is a lot more tedious than on a mate. So I want to do everything in my power to make it like as fast XP as possible. My current focus is 75 Slayer so I can try to grind out a Granite Maul, but later on, I'm going to need all the way up to 93 Slayer to try to get my Occult Necklace. I can't show every Woldy Slayer clip because we'll be here all day, but honestly, I didn't really see that many PKers during this first stint. I did die one time to some noobs because I was completely AFK watching a race. I got way too complacent, but aside from that, I really didn't run into anyone at all, which is kind of what I expected. I did get my first PK on the account, hopefully of many more, and it's kind of ironic that the guy's name is Do Not Sleep, and I caught him sleeping, but what can you do? I then got 70 range so I can get rid of these red D-hide chaps, and I can finally wear these black dragonhide chaps. A little while later, I was lucky enough to get my first piece of Elder Chaos robes, the hood, the worst piece, but I'll take what I can get. I've been cannoning or bursting like every possible task because I do think it's more efficient overall, and while I'm finishing tasks quickly, I do need to get a few more upgrades on the account to make smithing cannonballs not horrible. But I'll focus on that next episode, and I promise I'll be spending a lot more time in the wilderness. Oh, and I got 30 Laren's keys and wanted to see if I can get some steel bars from there to make some cannonballs. Nope, 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 nope. Literally nothing I wanted. I really only wanted steel bars, so yeah. I even got this hat, but I can't wear it. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll spend more time in the wilderness next video. I promise I'll go into more detail on everything. Okay.